Well, annyeonghaseyo, this is meowmurai. Let's check out Tetris Effect Connected running on PC. This is through Steam VR. And wow, why is my screen like that? What the heck is going on? What the heck is going on here? That's not what I expected this to look like. Huh. Why is it like that? That's so weird. What is even that resolution? Huh. Well, the preview window is not what I would expect this to be. Oh, no, again, I don't know why it looks like that. God, how do I change that? That's really messed up. It's messed up, you can't see the whole screen. Yeah, because that doesn't look like that when we're using PlayStation VR and we're outputting to a PlayStation. Why is Steam VR's preview window so small? There we go. Okay. Still learning things? The only problem with the PlayStation VR headset is that it's got this really, really absolutely tiny sweet spot. So if you want to get like a nice clear image, you gotta work for it. Alright. Let's do a journey mode. Let's see this mouse up here. Go away. Okay. Let's see here. Like to do the basics tutorial? No, we're fine. The normal mode. Let's see, which one was instant drop? Oh, the controls are kind of funktastic here. Yeah, I think this is actually one of the better 3D titles. So if you have a PlayStation 2 VR, Strangely enough, the Tetris game is one that really shows off just some clever uses of VR. You know, you're not getting any of the motion tracking or the the foveated rendering or anything like that, but it's just a nice looking VR display with like lots of VR special effects. You know, like all the little starbursts that happen when you get a Tetris. Those kind of come up towards the screen. And overall, your view of the world is has a good deal of depth. You know, because they're well-defined, simple shapes. You know, they work good with almost any headset at you know, most resolutions. And again, even though I own this on the PlayStation side as well, it's kind of nice having it on the PC. And you know, if you're buying it on Steam right now, of course the deal is really good. So it doesn't hurt me too much to double dip. I would have paid full price for everything? I don't know. Well, I think the full price is only $40 on this, so I mean that's super reasonable. If there is a complaint I have of this, is that the FOV is a little close. So like I have to look down to see the bottom of the screen, and I don't necessarily like doing that. Number one, there's extra weight on your head from the headset, and while it's not a lot, it's something that you can feel after a certain amount of time. And you know, the less you force your player to kind of put extra weight down on their neck, then the better. And because it's such a closed-in view, that sometimes you miss all the details that are around you, which is probably fine in a Tetris game, but in a game that's not Tetris, where you do need to pay attention to things on your screen and have some awareness of them, you know, you'll have to move your head around just to even get that detail. And again, it's not super comfortable. It's not something I would want to put my users through. If I could possibly help it. But again, you know, that's my design philosophy. That's how I would think of things before I assign them in 3D space in the VR game. Tetris is one of those games that's it's sort of maddening as a viewer, right? Because you see where somebody could maybe get like a better setup for more points, or you know, maybe they don't see what may be obvious to you, that you know, the best plan, the game plan, going out for playing Tetris, and then, you know, you'll just like you'll want to be that couch coach. Let me tell you, I don't think that far ahead. That's why I'm not really great at Tetris, even though I like playing it. Yeah, one of the odd things about having the PlayStation VR adapter for your PC is that when you define your playable surface, that includes the controllers. So the controllers have to also be within your vicinity. Like if you decide to set, like I'm using just a regular controller in this case, and I'm not using the PlayStation motion sensitive controllers. So if I put those away from me, I could just set them aside since I'm not using them, then that counts as my physical space, and the VR software warns you, by showing you this virtual grid around you that your playfield is beyond what you defined. Meaning, I see this giant cage around me just because I set my controllers away. So I actually have my controllers in my lap, even though I'm not using them, just so that it doesn't give me that stupid jail, my virtual jail. That doesn't go away unless you have your controllers near you. It's funky stuff. I personally think VR is the best when it's just a display. When companies start getting a little ambitious with having you, feign all these motions of, loading your gun or searching through your rucksack or just like stupid stuff like that, which, during the Wii era, during the motion control era for the Wii, that's things that would drive us crazy as gamers. It's like, why can't I just push a button? And then in the VR era, they learned nothing from that, and they just want you to constantly make hand motions, which don't really feel that natural because you're not dealing with physical objects. For example, like Half-Life Alyx or any of the first-person games, you're supposed to reload your gun by by looking at your waist and then making a motion to grab a clip from your waist and then slap it inside your gun. Well, you don't actually have a gun in your hand, so the idea of manipulating something which doesn't exist, and just making the play motions actually is the opposite of feeling natural. It feels very unnatural because you have the disconnect of trying to manipulate something which you need tangible physical contact with. That's when it makes sense to do that kind of motion. And so I largely look at something like that as a failure. It's like, well, okay, you're not really putting me into the game. You're actually making me acutely aware that I am not in, that I'm in a game and that I'm doing gamey things. I hope at some point in time, folks that develop VR games, kind of learn that lesson. It's like don't make me pretend I'm holding a sniper scope by having me put my two fists in front of me, pretending like I'm holding the barrel of a large gun. It's like that doesn't feel natural. It feels kind of stupid, really. But this, where I'm just using it as a display, and I get all the the nice benefits of having the 3D motion and the depth of 3D space. I think again that's when it's at its best. You're playing a video game, and you get the benefit of the 3D technology without having to deal with pretending you're holding a gun, like you're playing in the yard, in elementary school. It's weird how much praise that gets too. It's like a lot of people are like, "Oh yeah, man, it's great that I have to look down at my waist and grab an imaginary clip, like I'm playing cops and robbers when I'm 4." It's like, that's not cool, man. I don't know why you think that. You don't want to be critical of that. A lot of the same critics were super critical of the Wii and having to do stupid motions. But to put him in a VR headset and somehow those motions don't become stupid anymore. I was like, I really don't get it. It's like, no, it's still stupid to do it. It's still a thing that doesn't make sense in your brain. To pretend you have a, a belt clip in your hand, around your waist, and that you're grabbing something from your belt, which doesn't exist. And you're moving your hands through space, trying to think about a tangible object which is not tangible to you. Maybe they'll solve that someday, but it's not today. Actually, games like this have actually gotten me a little bit better at Tetris. Still not... Still don't see everything 100% like a lot of fans of Tetris do. But I can see, like 70% of combinations that I need to do. That could potentially, gain me a Tetris. Oh, wow, okay. Screw that one up. Yeah, some of you asked why I'm not covering the Tetris Anniversary game. I mean, it's not really a game. It's kind of like a documentary with some Tetris games in there. I covered the Atari one, the Atari 50, which follows the same format. I think it's made by the same folks, the Digital Eclipse folks. But I'm not like super invested in the history of Tetris, so that's I just like playing the game. I wouldn't say I need to know a lot of Tetris lore. I'm not waiting for Vati Video to release his his Tetris his 4-hour lore video on the nature of the Tetraminos, and how there's like a deep historical significance that pulls from Greek philosophy, some dumb crap like that, which he always manages to dig up. I'm fine with just knowing that it's just a game of falling blocks that I play, and I'm okay with that. If it's nothing more than that, I think I can still lead a full life knowing that. It's a little strange too that I guess this headset, the PlayStation VR 2 headset, is considered like one of the more comfortable headsets. Which it's not bad. I definitely can feel it on my face when I'm playing. So it's not like the sensation just disappears or anything like that. Especially if you decide to turn on the vibration for the headset. Which I don't choose to do that, but if you decide to do that, then it's like, oh yeah, I definitely have a headset on. Like, the feeling doesn't disappear. But if this is like one of the best ones, I kind of wonder how other headsets are. They must be absolutely terrible. Oh god, what a shape to start with. Thank you, Tetris. But that being said, this is kind of like the only way I want to play Tetris now, as a VR game, because it has very little to do with VR. You know, I'm not. It's not forcing me to do motions where I'm like, twisting my hands around to manipulate a Tetris or a Tetramino. I'm sure some genius out there is going to think of that and say, "Oh, that would be a fun way to play Tetris." And I'm just going to tell him to go F off. I will never buy that Tetris game. Yeah, this is largely the same experience as you would get from the PlayStation 5 PSVR 2. The resolution and the feeling of depth is still there, of course. Since the headset hasn't changed, it's really just the platform that the game is running on. But at least there's no compromise there. I will say, if you can get the PlayStation 2 VR working for your system, then it's pretty cool. Not always the case, though, as some sites out there, quite dutifully note that syncing your PlayStation VR 2 controllers may or may not be an incredibly difficult thing for you. In my case, my Bluetooth controller actually accepts them just fine. Although I did buy a separate Bluetooth controller in case these didn't work out, that was available on my motherboard. And of course, the ones that I picked, I think is the TP150, I think, or the TP50. Those also have problems with PlayStation controllers, depending on your setup. So, my plan B would have not worked if my plan A failed. But I think plan A did work. Now, I don't know if I could recommend the PlayStation headset over comparable headsets if you have a PC. I don't think it's like overall the best headset. Although, with its reduced price at this point in time during the holiday season, maybe? It's going to depend on what VR games you want to play. But these OLED displays are really nice. I have to say that they make a difference. The way the color pops out, the clarity is really, really good. Versus something like even the Quest 3, which still very impressive. Very, very impressive. But the color is not quite at the same level as it is on a PSVR 2 headset. Still good, But if you were just to strictly compare the visual quality, the PS or the Quest 3 would not quite match. It has strengths in other areas, though. Just the overall quality of the image, how they conform to your eyes, and and the sweet spot's much larger on something like the Quest 3. Whereas, again, the sweet spot for a clear image on PSVR 2 is not large. It is a very, very small area. But you better hope you can sit it on your head just right so that your vision doesn't move too much. Otherwise, you're going to be constantly fiddling with it, trying to get the optimal clarity, because the sweet spot is just so tiny. So I just fear, my head moving in the wrong place every time I play one of these things, because I know that might blur my vision, and then I'll have to pause and have to futz around with the headset. Yeah, like things like the Quest 3 and the big screen beyond, obviously don't face those problems. I was hoping that the Vitcher glasses, which we've kind of seen some good marketing from Vitcher. The Vitcher Pro XLs would make a good headset, but a lot of games do not detect them as a 3D capable device. It's like Steam VR doesn't recognize that I can actually play and have motion with the Vitcher glasses. And so even though I have 3D games, and the Vitcher Pro XLs are perfectly capable of displaying a 3D image, because Steam VR doesn't know that those VR glasses, the Vitcher glasses, can do that, then it ultimately doesn't detect it as a 3D display. Which again is a shame, because those are way more comfortable than this. And if Vitcher could somehow work with Steam on kind of integrating that and getting it so that their glasses could be used as a proper display for Steam VR games, I think that'd be a major win, because then I wouldn't have to have this entire headset strapped to my face. I could have just a much smaller footprint of the Pro XR glasses. I get all the benefits of immersive VR with minus the drawback of having the big head-mounted display. Someday, maybe. I don't know. I don't think Vitcher's quite ready for that. But I hope in their next few generations of glasses that number one, that they can move to 4K. And number two, that they will work with Valve on getting their headset working with Steam VR. And even Sony got it working, and they are notoriously known for being uncooperative. I would hope Vitcher would be able to have a little bit more success. Because I definitely don't like having these PlayStation controllers on my lap. I really would like for that to not be a requirement, is to have my controllers be required to be in my play area. It's like, let me set them aside and use the controller. It's okay. I just like the display portion. I don't like the motion controls. That can't be an unpopular opinion. Yeah, every once in a while, one of these virtual particles will approach my eyes, and I'll blink for fear of them hitting my eyelids. But obviously, that would not be possible. They're merely virtual pixies in my eyes. Good places to put some of these. We'll just find bad places then. Oh, Victor, you're so very close. I do love those Pro XL glasses. I should probably put up a review of them, because I think if you have a phone and you watch a lot of video through your phone, then they're a really nice like companion. But if you want to, like play your games from your PC using the Victor, then that's a less successful product. But as a companion to a phone or a Switch, excellent. Just want that long piece, sort of a long piece. Not sure what's going on in my head. Not much, apparently. I think the bummer about these things, as far as the streamer is concerned too, is that I don't get to see chat. Not that a lot of people chat on my channel, you know, I don't necessarily encourage people to come in there here just to chat. But if you did want to say something to me, well, I can't see it. And it's not me just being my regular jerkish self. I just literally cannot see what you're typing in. You know, somebody out there will have to figure out some sort of solution to that, where we could pipe in the chat's API into this into the Steam VR display API. Who knows? You know, I'm just an idea man. I mean, I do that kind of work on occasion, but not as my regular day job. No, oh no, they're driving fast. Oh no. That's not great. Oh no, oh no. No. Deserted. Unfortunately, it's deserted and not dessert. Ed. Yeah, I do wish the camera was just a little farther away. I hate when I have to like look up or to the side just to see the top and bottom of the screen. was like, don't make me do that. I don't know how to do that when I'm playing a normal game. I can do that playing VR. Yeah, all this VR scenery is really cool. It's too bad the output display on the Steam VR is so funky. So I apologize if the screen doesn't fill the view of the screen. I thought I changed it, but apparently the changes don't stick, or the preview they gave you is, you know, not indicative of what you actually get when you're streaming the game. Which is a real shame, I'm telling you. dig my way out of these bad decisions I've been making. Oh, hey Vera. I know she's a little confused. I'm wearing this big old thing on my face. Actually, why don't we stop it there? This is meowmurai. You've been watching Tetris Effect Connected, running on PC with the PlayStation 2 VR adapter attached. I said generally it's a good experience, so if you want to purchase this PSVR 2 for your PC, I will say it does work. Maybe not every single build out there. Some builds are going to have a harder time than others, depending on the kind of hardware components you have on your PC. But for me, it worked just fine. And I've been pretty happy with the experience. And Tetris Effect Connected is also a really great game just all by itself, even if you don't have VR. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching. I will see you at the next stream.